14-month-old Nigel was at the zoo with both his parents and looking at the goat. The goat tried to eat the plastic lid in his hand, but it should not happen. Look at the conversation between Nigel and his parents. Nigel started with the phrase, "Try eat lid." The father prompted with the question, "What?" And later on, the mother pushed further by asking why. And look at Nigel now. He could give a complete sentence explaining what happened. This familiar conversation is an example of scaffolding where capable adults provide some assistance to the child to learn and accomplish what the child could not have achieved if let alone. In the education context, scaffolding is essential in inquiry-based learning process where teacher acts as a facilitator to provide guidance in a student-centered learning environment. It is usually concerned with the development of domain-specific thinking skills, and also important in the broader education landscape of progressive education. However, we have an issue here. Confusion in understanding the scaffolding metaphor. Either we overgeneralize it or rigidly interpret it, leads to vague interpretation and therefore affecting the implementation of effective scaffolding. For example, Stone argued that direct instructional strategy without interactions with learners is not considered scaffolding. Nonetheless, scaffolding works in parent-child interactions, and that's predominantly how young children learn. So it is worth understanding the working principles and its possible translation. Therefore, I was interested to explore how efficient scaffolding has been through the lens of science inquiry learning in secondary school setting through this research question. First, scaffolding is a multifaceted construct. Wood and colleagues' first and seminal work in this topic provided descriptions of scaffolding through the 6 functions of a tutor. 30 years later, Vanderpoel and colleagues' systematic review of a decade of research highlighted 3 key features of the process instead. The later research added depth to what qualifies as scaffolding. For instance, modeling does not necessarily mean scaffolding if the support does not fade over time. P believes that scaffolding is both a verb and a noun. He also highlighted the context of learning in the original work, that is, social-culturally grounded informal learning, and this made connections to Vygotsky's ZPD concept. While understanding context is good, but the dynamic nature of scaffolding in different contexts presents different views of it, and this leads me to my second point. Scaffolding manifests itself differently in different contexts. These different contexts include human or tool-mediated scaffolding, one-to-one, small group, or even complex classroom settings. Sometimes it can be a combination of these few aspects. Though human scaffolding is more adaptable and responsive, computer-based software scaffolding can handle more sophisticated instructions, as Reiser argued. The level of complexity in scaffolding increases as we explore it in more authentic learning contexts. The challenges in understanding scaffolding by both practitioners and researchers are real, and this explains why most studies thus far has been limited to observational and descriptive. But, to a certain extent, scaffolding is found effective in the limited studies done. We shall look at some evidence in my third and final point. The efficiency is founded upon metacognitive and cognitive activities. Students demonstrated better reasoning skills, knowledge gain, and increase in metacognitive awareness as compared to peers without scaffolding. Kolodner and colleagues deemed scaffolding as crucial for middle years learners. However, most of this effectiveness research are mainly one-to-one tutoring situations involving straightforward tasks. Therefore, there is a need for experimental research and to include aspects of complex classroom settings, educational technology, and the role of teachers in future scaffolding research. And finally, for us educators here today, SP highlighted the social aspect of scaffolding. Likewise, teachers interact with students on a daily basis. Let's take hold of this opportunity and do what we can to be better informed and be trained in scaffolding strategies, such as using the guiding framework produced by Vanderpool and colleagues. Thank you for your attention, and here's the list of references.